On the offensive side, obviously, we talk a lot of Sam Howell, Eric Bieniemy's offense.
How about the screen game?
The running game,
How
the
great was the screen game? That's what we expected in week one. You know what? Bieniemy called a great game.
He did.
He adjusted. Sam was getting sacked early. Offensive line having troubles, and they adjusted. They added sprint rollouts. They started going to there are things you can do when they're blitzing you, pressuring you, and you're not handling it well.
And then on the defensive side, we got to see Chase Young, and he was impactful.
He was a factor.
Got to tip my cap to Chase.
There was a Deron Payne drive where he just took over.
Well, that's a Hall of Fame
so many.
That was a Hall of Fame moment.
They have so many good defensive players. You had Emmanuel Forbes with his first interception as a pro.
He almost had another one late in the game, too.
Yeah.
They were testing him.
Defense took over play of the game, which turned everything around, and I tweeted at the time, because at 21-3, you're not thinking they're going to come back.
You're not feeling great.
But Chase Young pressures Russell Wilson out of the pocket. He rolls left. And Jamin Davis comes at him like a missile.
Great play.
And forces a fumble. That changed the game.
Well, that was a huge game changer. I agree with you. But in addition to that, and no one talked about it, was the 2-point conversion that went to replay. And they got that, and you saw Ron get fired up and go over to Brian Robinson and pump him up and say, way to go. And then they just took off.
Yeah. And not only that, I mean, we can grill him for his decision-making later in the game, but earlier in the game, before it's 21-21, and they decide to go for a 59-yard field goal.
Terrible decision.
Hated that.
Not great.
Ron Rivera deserves credit for the decision-making, the use of timeouts, because at 21-3,
2 weeks in a row,
they get the ball back with less than 7 minutes to go after Jamin Davis forces the fumble. And they drive, they score. And I think the conventional wisdom is just kick the extra point at that point, but they go for 2.
Yep.
Then, on the defensive side, aggressively use the timeouts to get the ball back.
That's exactly what they did in week one.
They get the ball back, they get a field goal, and all of a sudden, you're in the ball game. At 21-3, you're thinking, very unlikely to come back
down
and
7.
win the game.
Yeah.
But when you get into the half and you're down 7.
No, it was a brand new game.
You're totally
Everybody knew it was a brand new game.
And Ron deserves some credit for that. He was dope later on when he goes for the 59-yard field goal, which Sly pushed again to the right. Both of his misses yesterday were way right.
Well, everyone said that Cheeseman had a horrible snap on the first one. The problem is the replay never caught it, or the live broadcast never caught it. So I didn't see the snap. I still haven't seen the snap.
I didn't see the snap
24
either.
hours later, still haven't seen the snap.
I don't know if I'd be trying basically 60-yarders when you have a snapper problem. And Ron has a snapper problem, in case he was unaware.
To their credit, they did make a few, which were huge. Every single point you needed, obviously, you saw the way the game played out. But, I think universally we hated that. I get it. It's the thin air. Joey Sly's making 70-yarders in pregame. Whatever. We got a defense playing out of their minds for 3/4 of the game. Let's pin them and then just get another easy score.
I just couldn't believe we had to sweat it till the absolute end with the Hail Mary conversion.
Well, that was unbelievable.
If they lose the game because of a Hail Mary after this effort, I mean,
there were some great games yesterday. A lot of tight games going to last possession, going to OT, but that might have been the best one.
No, it's a
pretty
great
damn
game.
good.
Unbelievable game. And this is
was fun to watch.
Stunning to me, driving in, listening to all my stuff that I listened to, all the post-game analysis and stuff. I just wasn't aware of it. We haven't been 2-0 since 2011.
I know, it's been a long time.
That's unbelievable to me. Just 2 wins. Listen, 2 wins doesn't a season make. I get it.
And the next 2 are going to be tough.
Yeah, we'll likely lose the next 2. That's
but bask in it right now.
No, but to be 2-0 and it to be so rare is that it hasn't happened in 12 years, that's unbelievable.
And I tweeted it too.
Everybody
last
should
night.
take their pants off.
Like, why would CBS flash that graphic with like a minute left in the game? All they're trying to do is jinx Washington.
What graphic?
They flashed the graphic that
about
Washington hasn't been
I didn't even
2-0
notice it.
since 2011.
Because they were saving it. They prepared a graphic.
Yeah.
I agree with your sentiment.
Too early.
But they prepared a graphic as a team, and they're like, well, if they get in this position where they're about to win, we need to use this. And they wanted to use it.
How about you keep it in your
was
pants?
in the can.
Keep it in your pants like EB's trying to for your graphic until there's an F underneath the score for final.
I know, but they don't care about the jinxes. They just want to throw out numbers and
we're the only
stats.
people that care about
But, man, did it start rough. and that shows you the resilience of the team. I mean, Russell Wilson's dropping bombs, defensive breakdowns.
I don't understand.
All of a sudden, it's 21-3. You did have the missed field goal because the Commanders were driving the ball. Let me tell you something, and we'll talk about it throughout. Eric Bieniemy's offense, pass happy. Now, he changed it. You're right.
Love that.
And they ran the
he
ball
adjusted.
successfully in the second half. But they come out in the first half and they sling it around.
Washington fans, welcome to the 21st century.
It was almost
this is
like
what offense is supposed to look
like
like.
the pass set up the run in the second half a little bit.
Yeah. Well, I thought the biggest adjustment was adjusting to the pressure. And the other thing is, you could tell, and this is why he's a coach's son. He's going to get this. You could tell he still holds the ball too long, but you could see where he was going to hold it too long. He's like, you know what? I'm throwing this away. You saw that 2 or 3 times where anybody watching could see you could hear the coaches go, no, you got to throw this one away now. Because I don't think he really likes to throw it away.
No,
but
I'm sure he doesn't.
But he's got to learn it, and you're seeing gradual improvement. And by the way, in between the gradual improvement stuff, he's just got balls, makes
the
big
touchdown pass
throws.
to McLaurin.
That was a great throw.
That's maybe.
Yeah. No, he can stand
How about
in
the pass
pocket.
to Bates?
Yes.
The Bates down the sideline was a
That
great
was
throw.
those were 2 excellent passes. But yeah, early in the game, I charted this. They had 17 when they're down 21-3. They had 17 pass attempts, just 4 runs. Andy was sacked 3 times. That's 20 dropbacks and 4 runs.
And
They
here's
wanted to
the-
get back.
here
They
was the
wanted to
good-
get back in the game.
Here was the good part, though. Even though they were struggling, and they actually highlighted it on the broadcast, I give them credit. First of all, I never heard of that Spiro dude. We got to get somebody with more energy.
He's
than
been
that
there
guy.
for a while.
All right, God bless him. We just need a guy with more energy.
I
But
thought
guess
Archuleta was excellent.
I thought Archuleta
called the bomb from Russell Wilson. Mm-hmm. He called it,
Archuleta, I agree.
and the very next play, he's like, well, Washington, they're bringing an extra guy.
Yeah.
He's like, Denver needs to take a shot. Next play, boom, deep shot.
But
And he got hit right when he threw it. I don't know who hit him. Who hit him?
yeah.
Can't remember.
Was it Chase? But someone hit him right when he threw it.
But what I love
Knock
is
the ball down, boys.
even though we were 21-3, that we were moving the ball. We had 4 of our first 6 drives were like 50 yards or more. It's just we had the 2 duds right there in the middle, and then they, to their credit, took advantage. But then again, it was a very similar feeling to last week. Remember in the fourth quarter last week where the defense just took over?
Yep.
And then Deron Payne had the Hall of Fame sequence, right? Where he had the sack, the tackle for loss, the pass defense, whatever it was.
No, defense, it's
They
almost
just took
like
over.
I mean, it's easier said than done, but it's almost like they say, all right, guys, we have to win this game for the team. Let's go do it now. And then they do it.
Yep.
Here, there's the game-changing play, the forced fumble by Jamin Davis, and then the offense obviously has to score, and they have to do their part. Some good use of timeouts by Ron, and you get to halftime, and then the first defensive drive is that Deron Payne takeover.
I mean, when I saw that, I actually knew we were going to win.
And Russell Wilson, he was having to move around in the pocket every time. Like in the second half, I don't think there was a time when he just dropped back, planted his feet, and was comfortable.
he
Well, you
was
think
getting
about
hit.
it. I think it was Montez Sweat that told Ben Standig after the game. He said it's like an effing, or he actually said the G word, the GD word. It's like a friggin' Olympic sprint race every play. The linemen, they're all sprinting to the quarterback. Like they're all that quick off the ball.
It's gotta be terrifying
And they're
for
pushing
Russ.
each other.
Yeah.
Who's going to be the first one there? They're just sprinting.
And
it
though
was
Chase
great.
Young had penalties, as much talk as we have,
one of them was a terrible call.
as much talk as we have about Chase Young, and I can tell you on our social media, I put up a couple things. Chase Young will blank. And I've never seen more responses. Like, Chase Young is a polarizing guy.
100%.
You should see how many comments. Like, if you just put predictions for the game, you might get 100 comments. If you put predictions for Chase Young, you'll get 500 comments. It's ridiculous how much attention he gets. He deserves credit. Sack and a half.
Yeah, he would. But it
A
was
sack and a half.
It wasn't just the sacks, the pressures. He was in Russell Wilson's face a lot.
And he
Was getting-
forced Russell Wilson to move on that Jamin Davis
He had a
fumble.
I
tackle for
would
loss.
say
He had 2 quarterback hits. He was
It's the
so
best
impactful.
No,
he's
he was
looked
good.
since his rookie year.
Yes, I would
It's
agree.
the best he's looked since his rookie year.
And just the combination of him and Montez Sweat with Payne and Allen in the middle. John Allen, by the way, will join us at 9 o'clock as he does every Monday on the show. That's a scary defense. And we knew they were a good defense.
Well, then adding Forbes.
It's a scary defense.
Adding Forbes, who's clearly a ball hawker. Now, he got burned. That's fine. Corners get burned. But then he comes back. It didn't look like it phased him at all. He tries to jump a lot of routes, and he finally got one.
Jamin Davis playing better.
Jamin Davis has slowly gotten better. Listen, I don't think he's been worth the pick.
No, he might not be Brian
But
Urlacher.
ultimately, he's turning into a serviceable player. He's making plays. You see the speed. That's all I thought when I was watching. I was like, wow, this defense has team speed. It reminds me of like watching the Hurricanes back in the day, 30 years ago or whatever, or the Ravens in early 2000s, and just in the sense of team speed.
And the image of Montez Sweat and Chase Young meeting at Russell Wilson and celebrating together, like you see that, you're like, okay, this is the game plan. This is why you're spending all these high picks. This is what it's supposed to look like.
That's what you expected.
And it's finally happened.
But look, to get to him 7 times and to hit him a bunch, to hurry him a bunch. He looked like the old Russell Wilson in the first half.
Yeah, I still think he has game left.
That was the old Russell Wilson.
Don't write off Russell Wilson.
Well, I'm just saying, he looked like the old Russell Wilson.
Yeah, he still has plenty of game.
But ultimately, after 60 minutes, Ron and Bieniemy outcoached Vance Joseph.
Well, and I just love I'm telling you, I don't know that I've ever seen the screenplays work like that for us in years.
No, the screen game was awesome.
We've looked so out of sync in the preseason and in the first game with those screens that I kind of question them. But they were perfect. They were the perfect calls. I thought we saw Bieniemy grow as a play caller in real time yesterday.
By the way,
And you saw your boy Gibby contribute.
Of course, love you. Still love
Finally.
Gibby. Didn't even mention Logan Thomas with maybe the play of the day.
A great catch.
Holding on to
I
the
don't know
ball
how he held
while
on to
getting
that.
headhunted by Kareem Jackson, who I would think is going to serve a multi-week suspension because he's done that back-to-back weeks now.
Yeah,
he can cuss Jacoby Myers.
Get him out of here.
He cuss Logan Thomas.
Yep.
I mean, who holds on to that ball when you get
I don't know
just
how
your
I
bell
did it.
rung like
I don't know
that?
how I did it.
I couldn't have been more impressed.
I know Bates had a drop, especially after I hyped him up on social media. But Bates is a legit tight end. He can pass block and he can catch. Cole Turner's contributing. You know what? I've been saying it for years and I've been mocked. We have weapons.
Got weapons.
We got weapons.
All right, we'll be talking about it throughout the show. Victory Monday here on The Fan.